Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Lead In with Lorne. Hey, I start to wonder about this, and I'm curious around what you think about it. Why do you think that so many organizations, when you ask about how much recognition is given, that they often reply that very little or not very much? That people often feel under-recognized and underappreciated. Now, we've been talking about recognition. I've been talking about it for years. We know the data out there about the importance and the power of acknowledging and appreciating. So just sit back and ask yourself honestly, okay, who did you give recognition to last? When? And how often do you do it? Why do you do it? And both in your professional life and in your personal life. And I want to just share a little bit of a story about this around, I'm a Peloton rider, which just, I'm going to go and do a little spoiler alert just out of, because I think it's interesting. I love my Peloton. I actually haven't had it for that long. I've only about my 150th ride. And some people have ridden literally like 9,000 rides. How the hell do you do that? But anyway, partly spoiler alert, but if you follow the Sex of the City sequel, and I don't, but apparently Mr. Big, who I know is the partner of Carrie on the show, he's riding a Peloton, his thousands ride, and he has a heart attack and he dies. And of course, the reason they have to write him out of the show is because he's got sexual assault charges against him, and that's another story. But then Billions, which I do watch and I do really like, one of the chief operating officer of the private equity firm on Billions, Wags, he's riding his Peloton too, and he has a heart attack. Now, spoiler alert, a little bit, not too big of a one, but he does not die. And he goes back to the office and said, I'm not going down like Mr. Big. Anyway, it's kind of funny. But anyway, kind of a correlation, because it's a much deeper issue, of course. Peloton stock dropped 24% last week. That's a whole nother story. But one of the things that where I'm really going with the Peloton story that really I found really interesting, according to one of their instructors, as I'm riding my beginning of the year ride in January, she says that last year Peloton community gave out 660 million high fives. And I've been on some rides where like I'm constantly poking high fives because they're popping up left and right. And it really does make the ride more fun when you go and you realize that so-and-so is having their 100th ride, or someone's at a personal best, or someone on the leaderboard knows that you are just challenging the living hell out of them. And they pop up a high five just to say, I see you out there. And there's something about a community and high-fiving each other, encouraging each other on. And we all know we're all trying to get fitter and, all the things we're trying to accomplish about just by getting on the bike and spinning. In organizations, why can't we give out those high fives all the time? Now, it is a little bit helpful in Peloton because the system prompts the high five. You can go and do your own high five easily, but the system kind of prompts it up and then you respond. So, but why wouldn't we have a system like that in organizations where we're doing that all the time? Like this coming week, who in your organization is going to celebrate something? They've been in your organization X number of years or days. LinkedIn does it for me all the time, for God's sake. Tells me that so-and-so's got promoted, or so-and-so's, what the heck's going on in your organization? I don't care how big it is. Why don't we know and make a point this coming week of going out and acknowledging, or someone's finished a project, or someone's at a personal best, someone's had a child, someone's recovered from something, someone's, parents got back home from the any number of things that says, I see you, I know you, I care about you, you're a human like I am, and I just want to take a moment. When I was the chief people officer at ATB, and some people have heard me say this, on one of our best months, we had 30,000 recognitions on our recognition platform. 5,000 people gave on average, our leaders gave about 9.2 recognitions a month. And I think people could think sometimes, these just are throwaways. They're not. The data is that the best leaders are the best recognizers. They're way, way better at giving out gold stars than they are at receiving them. They don't care so much about receiving them. They don't even count that much, but they care about giving them. Why? Because when you do, you make an important statement that says, I care about you. I see you. I know you. Look, on a personal basis, this weekend, I had a date with my 7-year-old granddaughter. We made a date, just a Saturday afternoon. And I'm fortunate because she lives fairly close to us, and this is easier to do now. We just went out together. Went out and had a bite to eat together. Then went out and I had a chance to take her shopping a little bit. And just her and me, just going and doing that. And then we went to a movie and saw Sing 2. And we were singing and it was like not a big deal. But it was just time with each other, just taking a moment. And my simple way of saying, I never want to take you for granted, my granddaughter, my children too, everybody. And I don't do that often enough even more. And so in our personal, professional life, this habit and way of life around saying, I see you, I care for you, does not mean that you have to go out and buy gifts or do things. It's mostly free. It's mostly just taking a moment to say, I see you. How are you? I recognize you. I appreciate you. I don't even tell Garrett that I work with him every day, and I'll tell him often enough how much I appreciate him, how much I appreciate, the coaching he gives me when we do these videos. And he makes me do it over again and goes, Dad, you might want to try it this way. It might land a little bit better. The story might be a little bit better. Sometime I'll do them, may not look like it, do 3 or 4 times to try and, land them a little bit better for you. I need to tell him that. Thank you. Kind of doing it publicly right now. So high-fiving, seeing each other, recognizing each other. And every once in a while, you get a chance to do a momentum one that will just be a jaw dropper. And people will never forget it. I got free tickets to a World Cup soccer game in Pasadena in the 90s, Italy, Brazil. I was not a big soccer fan. I've become more of it since then. I had a guy from Kenya on my team, Sam D'Souza. He was like a maniac soccer football fan. By the way, the AFCON Cup is on, the African Cup of Nations is on right now. I invited Sam, unannounced to him, to Pasadena with me. He was so appreciative of the opportunity. It was a chance to get for a World Cup for him was not going to be likely to go to the game and to sit there right there in the middle of the Rose Bowl and watch this game. Wow. That was one of those moments. And I know Sam's not forgotten that. And I had a chance. What a gift I have to do that. So, not all the time it's something like that, but every once in a while you get to do a wow. And how great is that? So it's a chance mostly to say, I see you, I care for you. And in some cases in a personal basis, say, I love you. 660 million high fives on Peloton. Wow. Why can't we aspire to having high fives every day all around us, not to take us for granted, but to reinforce how much a difference we make and how important we are. That's it. Probably got on my soapbox a little too much there, but if you can't write it down, you can't define it, you can't recognize it, you can't describe it, you're not doing it. And you know what? You're letting yourself down and other people around you. So shape it up, huh? Hang out with us on all our socials. And thanks for letting me poke at you. And it's a reminder to myself. Thanks. Bye for now.